Hello ladies, and welcome to our next video. This one is how to conjugate third IO and fourth conjugation verbs in the present system. So that would be present active indicative, present active imperative, present active infinitive, and then of course imperfect active indicative and future active indicative. Okay, so a couple things to know about the third IO and fourth conjugations. Okay, they are almost identical to each other. In fact, there are only two times in which their endings are going to be different from one another. Okay, one of which we'll learn in this lesson, one of which we'll learn when we learn passives. Their pattern is similar to the third conjugation pattern, but third IOs and fourths retain their I when they conjugate. Okay, and I'll show you what that means on the next slide. Okay, so how do you identify a third IO verb? A third IO verb will have an ERE without the macron in its second principal part, but its first principal part is going to end in an IO. So there you go, that's a third IO. Fourth conjugation verbs have an IRE in the second principal part. Now, like the third conjugation, you form the present stem of the third IOs and fourths by removing the entire ERE or IRE for fourths from the second principal part. So what that means is that your present stem does not end in a vowel. Just like the third conjugation, you're going to have to add the vowel between the stem and the endings. The vowel for the present tense is going to be I or IU. The vowel for the future is going to be IE or IA. Okay, so let's take a look at how to conjugate the third IO verbs. As always, the first person singular present active indicative is the first principal part. After that, you need your present stem. Onto this present stem, you add the I to show that you're in the present, except for the third person plural, which is going to be IU, and then you add your endings, ST, mustis, nt. Notice that the present active imperative for third IOs form their singular imperative the exact same way as the third, and their plural the exact same way as the third. Now, the reason why this little E is green is because this is one of two ways in which third IOs and fourths are going to be different. And I'll show you that on a future slide. Present active infinitive, as always, is the second principal part. Moving on to the imperfect active indicative, you get your present stem, you add IE, and then you add the imperfect endings bom, bas, bot, bomus, botus, bont. Just like the third conjugation, future never uses bo, bis, bit. Instead, the future will use a vowel change, just like with third conjugation, to show that it's in the future. So, to form the future active indicative for third IO verbs, you need your present stem. You need to add IA for the first person singular, or IE for the second, third person singular, plural, first person plural. And then add your endings, MST, mustis, nt. Okay, why don't we look at how this works for an actual third IO. So you can see here that it has an ERE in its second principal part, ends in an IO in its first principal part, so this is a third IO. What's the present stem for the third IO going to be? What do we got here? It is COP. CAP. So our first person singular, and here I'm going to move this down a little bit. Look at that. Okay. So our first person singular present active indicative is COPIO, first principal part. After that, we need to get our present stem, which is, one second, ladies. COP, right? So here we have our present stem here, and then onto this present stem we are going to add the I and the IU for the third person plural, and then st mustus int. So capio, capis, capit, capimus, capitis, capiunt. And this particular verb means to take. Okay. Notice present stem plus an e for the singular imperative, ite for the plural. So take, cape, capita. Our second principal part being the present active infinitive. And then again, we have our present stem, cop, to which we add the ie and then the imperfect ending. So copie bam, copie bas, copie bat, copie bamas, copie batas, copie bant. I was taking, you were taking, he, she, or it was taking, etc. And then for our future, again, we get our present stem. We add an ia in the first person singular, ie for all of the rest. And then our ending, so mst, mustus, nt. Copiam, copies, copiet. Copiemus, copietus, copient. I will take, you will take, he, she, or it will take, etc. Okay, now we need to know how to conjugate fourth conjugation verbs. So this is going to be generally the exact same, okay? Present active indicative, first principal part for the first person singular, present stem plus I or IU in the plural. Please excuse that uppercase I here. There is another little difference, which is that the fourth conjugation as opposed to the third IO has macrons over some of its I's, but that's not very important. But notice this difference, this important difference here, in that fourth conjugation verbs form the singular imperative with a long I, as opposed to the short E like third and third IO. So that's one of the two differences between the two. But aside from that, everything is exactly the same as the third IO. Imperfect forms by putting, getting the present stem, getting an IE, and finishing with bom, bos, spot, bom, spot, bon. Future, present stem, IA in the first person singular, IE in the second, third singular, first, second, third plural, plus your endings mustus, nt, MST, mustus, nt. Okay, so how are we going to conjugate an actual example of a fourth conjugation? Well, we have audio, audire, audivi, auditum. What's the present stem going to be? Yeah, it's going to be aud. And it's on to aud that we're going to add the vowels and then the endings. So, audio, first principal part. Audis, audit. Audimus, auditus, audiunt. I hear, you hear, he, she, it hears, etc. Again, notice that the long I is the singular imperative. So audi, here, audite, here, and then second principal part, audire, to hear. And then our present stem plus IE plus bom, bos, bot. So audie bom, audie bos, audie bot. Audie bomus, audie batis, audie bont. And then our future, again, our present stem plus IA in the first person singular, IE in the second on. So audiam, audies, audiet, audiamus, audietis, audient. All right, thanks so much, ladies. I will see you in class. Please bring any questions you may have. Have a good night.